Hey, everybody, and welcome to the next episode of Taking Flight. It's Megan, and I hope you are doing well. How are you doing in this season? I always like to just do a little check in and see how things are rolling for you. For me, it's been an interesting just few months, and I've done some fun things going on, and I've got something coming up that's really stretching me. And so I'm just in the season of embracing things. I'm actually doing an open mic night, which I'm like, what is this? Who is this? Past versions of me are going, what? What is happening? It's an evening of women doing kind of inspiring content and things like that in an open mic style. So it's just, I don't know. My stomach flips every time I think about it. And I was telling somebody the other day about it. And they're like, shouldn't you be used to this by now? Like, you have a podcast, you're on YouTube, you spoke on stages. And I'm like, I don't think that's how it works, right? There's still always going to be those levels of like, I care about this and it's stretchy and it's all of that. So, whatever you're doing in life right now, hopefully, you're feeling some expansion or maybe some really good groundedness as well. Today's episode is actually going to be fueled by questions that have come through. Over the last few months, I've popped a question box in my stories and just said, like, anything that you want to, ask or talk about or themes or whatnot. And I've kind of collected them over time. So many of the questions come from you guys. Many are from conversations that I've had as well with other people in my community. And so I am going to have my phone on me today, but it's not because I'm going to be rude and texting. Promise. It's going to be so I can make sure I can work through these questions. So I hope that, what I believe to be true is that whenever one person is thinking or feeling something, a lot of us in the collective are maybe also looking for answers or just inspiration, right? I don't have all the answers. First of all, that's just, a no-brainer here. Nobody does. But maybe the answers that I have, right? Or just my own kind of instinct to them are what somebody else needs to hear, including myself. And so these questions, although I kind of copied and pasted them into a little list for ease, I haven't really thought about them much. So this is kind of live me working through them. And I don't know exactly how many we'll get through, but I'm just we're going through this today. We're in this together. And so let's get started. So the first question is, what's one piece of advice that I wish more women heard when starting their business or doing something that stretches them? So the biggest thing that comes to mind for me in this is that there's no perfect start. I work with a lot of women in business, being a branding photographer and coach. And so many people I can just feel and sense, and just what they say is like they're looking for this perfect storm. Well, when this, and this line up, then I'll have success, or then I'll be ready. And not even in business. So if you're not a business owner listening to this, this is just true in life. There is no perfect time to have your next child, to move into that new house, to make any decision, right? There is obviously best practices and things to take into consideration, but there's no perfect. So I think that's really, I mean, I know it's not anything like groundbreaking, but really stop waiting for the perfect situation to come along or for somebody to tell you what to do. Get guidance where you don't have kind of an understanding of things, but also trust that you have something in your heart, talent, gift to just kind of start moving in the right direction. Okay. What do I think people are overcomplicating in business? Okay. So these are definitely like in the same vein. I kind of clumped them too, kind of in like business, confidence, that kind of thing. So what do I think people are overcomplicating in business? I think sometimes we take into account control too much. Like if I control and curate everything to be just so, especially in the world of social media, we hear so many people saying, if you post this many times a day and you do this, that, and the other, that it's going to be the success route, right? And that's really not true. So I think we overcomplicate kind of the fundamentals of things within business. And again, this goes right into life. So what are you overcomplicating? I'm going to stop and ask you a question for a second. What are you overcomplicating in your season right now that you're just trying to make harder than it needs to be? I do that often, where I'm just kind of layering on stuff that doesn't need to be there. And in the long run, it just wastes time, energy, sometimes even finances. And So if we can come down to the fact that there is no hard and fast rule and we can't control all of it, then I think we can be a lot more efficient in the way that we operate and see growth faster. In the seasons that I look back on that I was controlling things more and wanted everything to kind of feel, in the exact same vein and it just didn't it I was working and growing, don't get me wrong, but in the season I'm in now, it's trusting and letting go and bringing in more help and like all of that. So I'm not complicating things as much. And it feels a lot better to the energy as well. So hopefully that resonates. If you're complicating something, take a look at how we can let go. Okay. What's a moment I really had to choose confidence over comfort every day? Sitting here right now, I have to choose confidence over comfort. It is, I think, a daily practice. I talk about it a lot. You guys know it's no surprise that I feel like confidence, or I know that confidence is like a muscle. It needs to be stretched. It needs to be challenged. It needs to be, right, kind of sweat out sometimes. And so, in my biggest kind of well-rounded answer, it's really every day. I have to choose confidence over comfort because there are some days when I just want to sleep in and I want to go, you know what? Like I'm not ready for doing that. Or even with this open mic thing, totally choosing confidence over comfort. It doesn't feel comfortable to put myself into an unknown situation where yes, I'm going to prepare for it, but I'm also want it to feel a little bit raw and real. So I'm not going to like script myself. So it's definitely going to feel confronting to kind of just be up there. But that's what I do on the podcast. I don't script anything. I have my ideas and my talking points, but I talk from the heart. But it doesn't mean that it's comfortable. So every day I'm choosing confidence over comfort. With this open mic thing, I'm choosing confidence over comfort. I've talked about my ziplining experience in the past that really opened up my relationship with fear. That was choosing confidence over comfort, even when I was shaking and trembling and literally wanting to just jump off the platform. That felt more safe to me than going on the zip line, which doesn't make a lot of sense, but it did. And even last year when I did That's What She Said, confidence over comfort, starting my business. So many places and spaces in my life have been confidence over comfort. And I think we all do it more than we give ourselves credit for. But I think it's important to stop and recognize those. So where currently can you give yourself some better credit for giving confidence and not staying too much in your comfort zones? Comfort zones can be good and feel safe in certain moments and seasons, but we don't want to live there too often because sometimes we might miss kind of the beauty of what's on the other side of it. Okay, what do I do when I feel imposter syndrome creeping in? It's another daily occurrence, really. I mean, I'm not going to lie, right? Who am I to do anything? Don't we all ask those questions? Like, why am I here? What is my purpose? Who am I to do any of this stuff? I feel like that is really something that is a daily in and out, right? For me, though, to give more of a kind of a tactical thing, when I'm feeling imposter syndrome, as you know, I name, or maybe you're new here, but either way, I name my mind gremlin. And my mind gremlin is just my negative thoughts. She's in there. Her name's Regina George from Mean Girls. It helps me, and I'm kind of excluding the word battle because I don't want that to be the feeling that I have in anything in life, but especially with my negative thoughts. It helps me when I name her to kind of have a conversation with her versus trying to just squash her like the monster in the movie, right? But anyways, what I do to kind of overcome imposter syndrome is have that conversation. Like, where are these thoughts, ideas coming from? Are they mine? Are they somebody else's? Are they old patterns? Have I proved them wrong in the past? That's my favorite one to do. If I've proved this wrong in the past, then I know I can do this, right? Like it's simple in that regard, even though it feels another kind of like layer or another monumental moment. It doesn't really have to be that way. So with this open mic thing, I'm just going to use that as an example because it just makes sense. I've been on stages with a microphone in my hand, right in front of lots of people. But like if I have imposter syndrome coming up for this, I can say, I've done it. I've done it. I succeeded. I lived through it. Amazing. You could do it again, right? So I think that's the biggest thing I would say for answering that question is that I kind of come to the conversation asking, hey, what have you done to defeat this before? And then arm myself with what I can do to make that happen, right? Okay, this one's fun. What's lighting me up lately? Oh my gosh. What's lighting me up? For me, as I have been for the last handful of months, been in dance class. I know it might sound redundant, but it is lighting me up. It has not gotten old. There are days when I don't want to go, or days when I feel lackluster and like, I'm not really in that. But then I go and it just reignites me. I've had people in the community who are local come share a dance class with me, which I freaking love so much. So if you are local to the Naperville, there also is locations in Chicago currently, and I think there's going to be expansion soon in other suburbs. But if you're local, come take a class with me. But that's lighting me up because it's not only getting my body moving, it's doing something that brings me joy. It's bringing me connection with people. Other things that are lighting me up are just the simple things like my backyard. I love finding peace just where I am. We are home, no matter where we are. So I've been doing a lot of hard work in the backyard, just putting some new perennials in, and each year, because it can get pricey over time, right? Each year I try to buy like another perennial plant because then they come back every year. And so you're spending less. It looks beautiful, all the things. And so I spent quite a few weeks just kind of taking my time creating back there, getting my hands in the dirt and enjoying nature. It feels so good. So that's what's lighting me up right now. I absolutely just adore. And then seeing the fruits of your labor in anything that you do, like projects or whatever, it makes me so happy. It makes me so happy. So that's my answer. What's next? Okay. What's a thought I had to let go of to grow? Ooh. I literally, like, the lower on the list these get, the less I like saw them. A thought that I had to let go of to grow. Well, one of them was simply there's not enough hours in the day. I used to say that all the time in my past career pathway before having my business. I would say that all the time, or like some iteration of it. And it was always true, always true. And although, could you argue that just is something that's going to feel real when you're living a busy, life and have a lot of things and you're trying to be productive and all that? Sure. But the sentiment of living in that doesn't support kind of my goals or my energy. And so I think it's important to reframe it. So I don't really say that anymore. And if I catch myself saying or thinking something like that, I take a moment to recalibrate, if you will, and say, well, am I using my time wisely? Am I allowing my, focus to get kind of pulled in too many directions? Do I need to space my calendar out? Like all these things, right? So that was one thing that was really helpful for me to kind of just like give it the boot because it wasn't supporting me. The time I was spending exhausted over the thought of that was time I could have been spending supporting, scheduling, and just creating something that actually made that feel erroneous, right? So that was one of the biggest ones that came to mind off the top of my head. Let's see. If my life was a movie, what would the title be? Oh my gosh, this one's hard. Funny little side note, I'm awful at remembering names of like movies and songs. I love, especially music. Like I like movies, but I'm not like a movie buff. Music I love so much, so many genres, so many artists, all the things. And sometimes I just know the song and I don't always know the name of it. And so this is kind of ironic to me because it's just like, oh, now I'm supposed to name my own movie. Gosh, I have to go with kind of the obvious, at least for anybody who has been around a while. Something that kind of evokes shimmer, sparkle. Because it's always been a constant in my life in some way, shape, or form. Whether it's the jewelry I wear, being a dancer, all the things. There's always been that element of that. And then I love prisms and light leaks and sunbeams and all of that. So I don't know the exact route I would go with this, but I feel like even just like shimmer, like just keep it simple and then build on the plot, So I'm gonna go with that. Shimmer is my final answer. Um, what's one thing that people always assume about me, but it's not true? Oh. I think there's two things that pop into my mind. People who only know me in the digital world always think I'm taller, which is hilarious. And my producer Brian is laughing because I am 4'10" or 4'11". I have to double check on that, but I am not tall at all. But if you think about it, a lot of times people only see me like halfway, or even if they see full body, it's it's not like a perspective the same as being in real life. And they're like, I don't know, maybe it's just your personality. I thought you were tall, you know? And in one of my posts, I put like a 4'11" Midwestern, photographer, da 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 da, whatever. And literally somebody messaged me and was like, you're only 4'11"? Like, how is this true? And I was like, I don't know, it's just my truth. So that one, is like it's literally not true. I am not tall at all. From a more like personality perspective, it is that I am extremely extroverted. And although I am, and I love people, and I love being around, and I love travel, and I love the go, 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 I would actually more identify as like an ambivert. I do need my space. In fact, I just had one, was it last weekend, where I just needed like 2 days in a row where I wasn't really talking to people, around people. It was like me, my home, I had to see my husband because he lives there. But like, I really just needed to retreat. And so I think people think that I have an endless kind of energizer bunny. And although I do, and I can push, and I don't want to use the word push, but I have extreme battery levels at times, but then I do need to recharge. So I think because people think that it is endless, that's not quite the truth. It isn't the truth, I should say. Okay. And then we're going to get into some like, these are the way we're going to end this episode is on a couple of kind of silly, like these are truly silly ones. And so where people come up with these things, I don't know, but I love it. One of them that caught my eye is, what's the most ridiculous thing that you believed as a kid? Okay. I kind of smile thinking about this because it's just literally makes sense with who I am and like my personality. But when me and my younger brother, we were the closest in age out of all my siblings. And so we, hung out a lot in, just in life and all the things. And so when it was summertime and it would start to get cloudy, like like say we were playing outside and it was like the perfect summer day and we would see clouds rolling in. It was like clear it was going to rain, but we didn't want the day or the play to end. We would start singing this is so silly. We would start singing that song, "Oh, Mr. Sun, Sun, Mr. Golden Sun." Like, if you don't know it, maybe I'll have to link it or something, but I'm not singing the whole thing. I promise you that much. We would sing that and we wholeheartedly believed that it worked every time. Like the clouds would move or like it wouldn't rain until a little bit later so we'd get more time. Like, I'm not joking. I wholeheartedly believed that that was the case. Maybe it was. I'm not too sure. But it was, you could say it's pretty ridiculous though. So that's the first thing that came to mind. Little random side tangent. Growing up as a kid in the 90s, the Bulls had their three-peat, all the things. And same sibling, we also believed that we jinxed the other team during like playoff season because we would run and do like a somersault on the couch every time they would be like doing a free throw or like shooting, and they would always miss when we did it. And we swore that we were part. I'm laughing because this is literally, I mean, we truly believe that we were part of the support system there for the Bulls. So Michael Jordan, you are welcome. But but I mean, this is the way that my brain worked, and honestly, it still does in a lot of ways. Like, right, like, believe something so wholeheartedly that it becomes part of your reality. But those are kind of just a couple silly little things that, how could I not share those? Don't judge me though, because honestly, I was a special little child, I just had so many like little like just beautiful, dreams in my brain. Okay, let's wrap up here with a couple more because I could go. I mean, there's a lot, but I don't want to like make this episode 2 hours long because I feel like we'll lose our minds, right? Oh, well, that one I can't answer because I've never done it. One of them is, what's your go-to karaoke song? I've never karaoke'd. That literally like makes me want to pee my pants. Like, I'll talk on stage, but don't make me sing. That sounds horrific. So I'll come back to that if I ever, just break that story that I can't do it and do it. Let's see. Let's end on the last one here. Okay. Hmm. What's your most irrational? Well, this one isn't fun, is like light, but I'm still going to answer because I already started reading it. I feel like I have to now. What's your most irrational fear? And do you secretly still believe it? Okay. I still semi scared of the dark. Like I'm talking when it's like really dark, I'm not happy about it. And I might run down the hallway to the closest light switch or something that's more, lit up. In fact, we have little night lights they're so great because at night you want to like keep it serene and like a little lower just for your, all those beautiful hormones and our cycles and all that. Anyways, but we have them in a couple of spots in the house. So like really truly there's never like total darkness in the living area of our house. Our bedroom different because I do believe you need deep darkness for a good sleep. But I really just I'm that person who like I shut the light off in the basement and I run up the stairs. So it's like an irrational fear because what am I actually scared of? Like you literally there's nothing there. There's nothing, nobody there. Like how more irrational does it get than being scared of what you literally just saw on the light 2 seconds ago? But now you believe that, it's a little bit more scary because there's no light. So I am 100% positive that is not I'm not the only person that feels that way. Do you also run up the stairs, because you feel like somebody's tailing you? I literally will like look over my shoulder and like book it up the stairs sometimes. Not even in the dark. Sometimes when the light is on, I'll just have this essence, which also brings me to one more thought. Sometimes when I'm standing next to the bed at night, I'm just like, absolutely something's going to grab me right now. And what I want to tap into this thought because what in our brains can feel so imminent and real that I'm like, actually, like, I've jumped on the bed a couple of times, like, it's about to happen. What makes that feel so real? How can we tap into that for like better usage versus like jumping into bed and feeling overwhelmed by this eerie feeling that is caused by nothing except for your mind? I'm gonna leave you to chew on that for a little bit there and see like how do we also are you like that as well? Because I don't know. It's a feeling. Okay. So I think I'm going to leave it there. I can always do another episode, especially if we're liking this format of episodes. I can do more questions, but I don't want to, extend too long and overstay my welcome with you here. I want your heart to feel light and just kind of, hopefully you laughed a little bit here in this episode. I know I laughed at myself a lot. So there's that. Don't leave me hanging. But what I would love for you too, as we wrap this up, is to take some of those thoughts and questions for yourself, get a little lighthearted, get a little, intrinsic kind of thoughts going for yourself and see how they can support you to just tap into maybe a past version of yourself like I did, thinking about my, little kid self singing to the clouds. And hopefully it just helps you take you somewhere that feels good and light. And so until next time, my friend, enjoy that process and find the good in your day.